Yo, what's up, folks? Captain Starseed here, David J, and today I'd like to talk to you about emotional vampires. What is an emotional vampire? An emotional vampire is someone who feeds off you and doesn't seem to care how they're affecting you. They feed off your emotions, you know, they feed off of you as a person. You know, they're always manipulating you and, you know, your good nature. You know, they consider kindness as weakness and they're out to exploit it for their own good. You know, there's crossovers with narcissism and stuff like that involved in this. So I think that's pretty clear. I think that makes sense. It's like a vampire, right? It sucks your soul. Well, these people suck you dry and they leave you emotionally broken, upset, spiritually wounded, you know. And you may be thinking, yeah, but you know what? I'm a good person. I've got to help broken people, and hurting people hurt people, and I know they're hurting people and all that kind of stuff. And that is true to a point. To a point, you have to be kind and loving, and you should. You should love everyone. I personally am a real Christian, not a churchanese Christian, which doesn't mean that I live like the devil and then say I'm a Christian. It means just the opposite of that. But I know that my deeds are filthy rags, and it's God that's good, not me. So that's what that means in a nutshell. So, you know, my faith says to love one another, right? To love those who hate you and persecute you and stuff. And it also says, though, to live at peace, you know, as far as it's possible, as far as you're concerned. And it says to avoid a divisive person, too. And there's a bunch of other warnings about wolves in sheep's clothing and things like that. And I really think emotional vampires are wolves, you know. They could care less how they affect you emotionally. They're feeding off you. And I do not believe for a minute it is God's will for you to enable that. I think that you have to somehow emotionally detach yourself from the situation. And the way you can do that is you can either choose to respond politely but not be rattled, or you really don't have to respond at all. And if you have to deal with that person, say, you know, because a lot of us, you know, we've got to work and stuff and deal with people in different areas of our life that we don't have control over. We don't, you know, we can't pick and choose who's in the workforce, you know, who goes to our church, who's at our community center, who goes to the kids' hockey game, right? So, you know, that's outside of our ability. But I firmly believe in the serenity prayer, and it says, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. So that would be the first part of that. But the second part of the serenity prayer says, and the courage to accept or to change the things I can, right? And there are some things you can change. You can change yourself. You can change your response. When you realize someone is using you, when they're feeding off of you, and they really don't care and their motives aren't good, detach yourself from that person. Get away from that person, you know? If you encounter them, be polite, not standoffish, but excuse yourself the first opportunity, and don't take what they're doing upon yourself emotionally. You know, motive is everything, and these people don't have good motives. They don't care. They don't care about you. They're feeding off of you. And, you know, a good predictor of future behavior is usually the past. And you know what? People change. They do change. But change takes really hard work. If you looked at these people and you know, they were jerks 2 months ago, and now they've had a revelation and they're totally changed, sit back and watch them for a while. Don't just take their word for it. Talk is cheap, right? Be very careful. You have to take care of yourself, you know? Even, you know, Jesus would retreat away from people for a time, you know? To cleanse his spirit and heal and renew his mind, you know? And you have to do that. And, you know, you may say, well, what can I do? This person's, you know, my wife, my husband. I married this person. I didn't know they were like that. This is my mother-in-law. This is my mother. It's my father. And, you know, I would say to you, okay, well, you know, you're in a situation that you cannot change. But there are things you can change. You can change your response. You can choose to respond and not react. You can know if they're being negative towards you and abusive, that they hold no validity, you know. We see the world through our own eyes, and, you know, if they're being abusive to you and saying negative things to you, that's coming from a sickness in their own spirit. That has nothing to do with you. Know that you're good. You were created for a purpose. And, you know, space. Take the space you need. And if there's physical abuse, you gotta leave. That one is non-negotiable with me. You have to leave. And you know what? In my city, there's even now a men's center, if you can believe this, for abused men. Because a lot of people are abused that are males. And, you know, people just negate that and laugh at them and stuff. What? But it's very common, actually. And so be very careful and protect yourself. Respond, don't react. Remove yourself from situations. Take the space you need. Have as little involvement to no involvement as possible. And when you have to encounter this person in a workplace, at church, at a hockey game that you referee, or your kid's hockey game, or your daughter's ballet class or art class, whatever. Be polite. Refuse to be personal. Do not share in-depth personal information. Don't give them any ammunition. Don't let them in. Put up your shield. And don't let them feed off you anymore. Beware of the emotional vampire. They're out there, you know. I'm not a psychiatrist, and, you know, every case is different. Some of them are sociopaths, some are narcissists. There's all different strokes, you know. So anyway, as always, Jesus loves you, and so do I. Peace.